Hello everybody, welcome back to the Culinary Cast, the long-awaited return. After 6 or 7 months, I'm back. I'd like to apologize for taking a long time off. I started a new job at Scott's Table Southern Pines, and I've been busy, and it's been kind of a headache, but now I feel like I've gotten comfortable to the point where I can start doing these things. I don't believe they're going to be once a week anymore. I don't have the time or the ability to schedule people to do this, because if anyone knows anything about this business, scheduling is tough. So anyways, I'm here with Nathan Hussey, former Westmoore employee.
Westmoore graduate.
And current sous chef of Elliot's on Linden. Nathan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, pretty much covered it all. I was at Westmoore for about 3 years. I worked under 3 different owners. And actually, I was also the sous chef at Salt and Pepper right before Yanni bought the building.
Bought Salt and Pepper?
No, but Salt and Pepper was in the Westmoore building.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was the buffet type.
Yeah,
deal,
we were
right?
there for like 4 months. It sucked.
Yeah.
It was a time. It was a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was there too, and then I started as a line cook at Elliot's, and that was about 2.5 years ago. And then been sous chef for 9 months. 8-9 months, something like that. So, yeah, been around. I've been cooking for I think 5 years this year, 6 years maybe.
So did you go to college
for culinary?
Yeah.
No. So I was originally gonna be a lawyer.
Oof.
I went to Campbell. Well, I did 2 years at Sand Hills. Got my associates, and then I transferred to Campbell. And went there for 2 years, got a bachelor's degree in pre-law, literally in English pre-law. It's a completely useless degree. It's a tough one. No one told me that I couldn't do anything with it. They were like, oh, no, you can be an editor, you go to law school, whatever. And so I graduated. I was already working at Elliot's then because I cooked all the way through college. And that was my job, was my spending money, and when I graduated, I didn't want to go to law school because I didn't like the subjects really, and I didn't really care for college. And so I just kind of went full time. I moved back home. I lived with my parents for a little bit, and just worked full time at Elliot's. So yeah, I've never been to culinary school. I want to go. I think the technical ability that you learn and the management skills you learn are important things to have.
At Sand Hills, like they have like the basic, culinary skills 1, bacon skills 1, and it's just I can't say what like CIA and like the big places are like, but some place like Sand Hills, it just gives you knowledge, but it doesn't really give you a whole lot of experience. Like they want you to be working somewhere as you're going through school,
right? So
they may like show you like 10 recipes like a day. Like they split you up and you all make something, but you only make it once.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So you don't practice it.
Not exactly, but it gives you like book smarts out the roof, and it also has like last semester I took small business management, entrepreneurship.
Okay.
They also have like pricing class, like a pricing and costing class, and like a menu design class, and stuff like that. So it gives you more of like higher stuff in a restaurant, like as far
Right.
as management and like the whole business side goes.
See, that's the crazy thing about EOL, man. I've learned a lot of that just from Chef Elliot. I mean, you know, we were doing every time we changed the menu, they let the line cooks have some influence over it. You know, if you have a dish and you can put it up and you can execute it, and you can execute it. The most important thing, if you can execute it in a timely manner, you know, and it's able to be prepped. Then, you know, they'll consider putting it on the menu. And I had to learn ordering and pricing and all of that when I got promoted, and staff management and labor management. And that's so crazy, because I wish I had learned it in school, because, you know, that would have been a much I'm not gonna say better, but a less stressful environment to learn that in. Because I mean, I was learning like on the go, like on the fly. So yeah, I mean that's something that I do want to go to culinary school for, just because I want the refinement. And that's also something I struggled with when I first started, was I had, you know, I cooked for a long time, but I didn't know how to hold a chef knife properly. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't dice, you know? So, it's something that, it took me a little bit, but once I got it, I mean, and Chef was really good about, working with the line cooks all the time and showing us like the way he wanted stuff done. So, I mean, once I got it, you know, it was good. And I think that going would only make me better. You know, I'm not one of those dudes that, you know, is like, I did it without it, you know, the rah-rah, you know, I'm not like that. I want to go. I think it's very important.
I think, like, again, I can't really talk about, like, one of the big places where, I mean, Chef Scott at Scott Stable, he tells me, because he went to the CIA way back in the day.
Oh, really?
And, I mean, he tells me all the time, he was there, like, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Just crazy, you know. But,
it's like a job.
Yeah, basically. Like that. But, so I can't really talk about that. But as far as, like, a place like Sandhills, it really covers the management and the, like, business side, and as far as, like, culinary knowledge, it gives you a good foundation for you to start, like, building experience over top of it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and you'll build good habits.
Yeah.
You know, like doing that over versus, you know, working in a restaurant, especially if you work at a big place, you know, like chain restaurants and stuff. Cause I mean, I worked at a Cracker Barrel, I worked at Applebee's, you know, and it's like, you can make all kinds of mistakes, and, they don't care there. You know what I mean? Like, you can get away with a lot more at a place like that, and you're not going to learn the right way to do stuff. So that foundation by itself is worth it, you know?
And it just kind of lays down for you. And it also gives you a lot of, like, culinary, like, history and stuff like that, which is cool.
Yeah.
Just learning about. And culinary history, like, it fascinates me. Even, like, not even, like, just food history in general fascinates me.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this in a couple, like, previous episodes, like, as far as, like, how, like, things came to be. You know what I mean?
Like how the cavemen went from cooking dinosaur meat on a fire to, you know, to where we're at right now.
Like, invented, like, a sandwich.
Yeah, who
like,
did that?
Who, like,
how did it get to the point?
Who saw, like, a
at?
chicken crap an egg and be like,
I'm trying to eat that.
Yeah, I'm trying to eat that. Or who, like, went to, like, some, like, on the coast and picked up a rock and there was, like, a booger inside of it. Like, an oyster. And
Yeah,
like,
I
want to eat that, you know? Like,
yeah.
And who, like, invented milk?
Who was the first? I was just about to say that. Who was the first guy to
like,
milk a cow, man?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an odd thing to
just
do.
Like, yeah.
You don't naturally get down there.
Let me drink that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That is fascinating.
I wonder if it was someone, like, I think I looked it up one time. I can't even remember what happened, though. But I wonder if it was someone, like, who was in, like, a life or death situation, and they're, like, dehydrated or whatever, and they found, like, a cow, you know, this feeding. And
I was,
like, hey, slide over.
Yeah.
And then he went, and then, you know, he hydrated, and he's like, that's all right.
Right. I've always imagined it was probably watching a calf, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, they drink it, so, I mean, it's probably fine. I can probably drink it.
But it's just weird, like, how everything came to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool to think about, like, who... And I remember in my baking skills 1 class, they talked about, like, the history of bread and how bread was, like, they didn't cook it at first, and it was just like kind of the unleavened like dough or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then like one night, someone like left it by a fire, and all of a sudden it's this.
And it proofed. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's bread, and they're like,
whoa, this is nuts.
We got to do this.
We didn't just leave this on a flat rock in the sun for an hour.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's just really cool to think about how things came to be, you know.
Yeah.
And it's also cool to think about how there's like more out there, you know what I mean?
Like there's all, I mean, you can like in culinary, I mean, you can always learn more because there's always somebody doing something new. You know what I mean? I mean, think about like molecular gastronomy and like spherification and jellification and foams and stuff. I mean, you know, how did somebody think to themselves like, all right, well, I'm gonna take these two flavors, blend them, and then, you know, mix them with xanthan gum to thicken, and now we have gel. Now we have, you know what I mean? And they're dipping water into hot oil, and somehow we're getting, you know, these balsamic pearls. You know what I'm saying? You seen those?
I don't think so.
It's crazy, man. There's all kinds of. I mean, there's a place in Southern Pine. I mean, you know Roast. You familiar with Roast, the sandwich shop?
Yeah.
Right. They have
Sandhills?
they have molecular caviar on a salad. And they have a drive-through. You know what I mean? That's the kind of place where it's like, whoa, like how did that?
I went and ate there, and I met a chef,
Matt Dell.
Yeah, I met him about a month ago, but yeah, and like people like Grant Achatz from Alinea in Chicago.
Oh, Alinea is crazy.
Oh gosh, and they'll do like the dessert on the tablecloth, and he'll like pour something out. And it just like it starts off like a circle, and then it becomes like a square.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's
and
nuts.
it's like what?
Have you seen the Little Washington? Apparently a pear, the dessert that won him that like 3rd Michelin star or whatever.
I may have seen it, but I don't think
it's like they make a pear, and I guess it's like fondant maybe. I'm not like entirely sure. And it's got spiced pear compote on the inside of it, but it is literally it looks like a pear. They like airbrush it, and they bring it out on a plate, standing straight up with a glass over it, set it down, pull the glass off, and then you tap it, and it cracks. And that's the dessert. And I mean, it's like, how do you think of that? Why would you think of that? You know what I mean? Like, that's not something I would ever even conceive, I feel like. And there's these places doing that, you know?
Grant Achatz is like, that man's something else.
Actually, I heard a podcast, and they were talking about them at Alinea. And it was, I don't know if you watch Mythical Kitchen. I don't know if you know about them.
That's
Chef Josh, GMM.
Yeah.
And they have the kitchen.
I used to watch GMM back in the day.
Okay, so they have a whole cooking channel now, and they have a podcast, and they're talking about like what is a food, like how are things, like how would can you alter the preparation of, and they were talking about pizza, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, if you go to Alinea, right, and they give you this unleavened cracker and tomato dust and like cheese foam, is that pizza? You know what I mean? That like everyone's doing all these things, and they're doing them so crazy. Like, at what point does it become something else?
Yeah.
I mean, it was really fascinating to listen to.
Stuff like that. I mean, it's fascinating. You know.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And it really like it can kind of discourage you because it's like, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I look at it that way sometimes, but at the same time,
like, man, I want to come up with something like that. But then you think like, it's all been done. You know, what do I do? You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you look at like, I mean, even like with us, you know, I mean, we started at Westmoore, you know, we're throwing fish in a fryer, you know what I'm saying, and now you know, I mean. In my case specifically, man, I'm cooking fine dining now. You know what I mean? I'm doing, I'm cooking filet mignon. I'm doing fish specials. Like, you know, I learned how to make a hollandaise before I could 1/4-inch dice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're always gonna get better. You're always gonna improve.
Yeah.
You can't ever look at it like, oh, there's somebody out there doing this, and like I'm never gonna be that good. You know? You can't think about it that way.
I just want to see like the jump from like fine dining to like Michelin star dining. You know what I mean?
It's a massive difference.
I know.
It's a massive difference. And I would love to do it, but I don't really want to move out of North Carolina. And there's, you know, the closest you're probably going to get, you know, like in Raleigh or Charlotte. I mean, you got Ashley Christensen and those James Beard award-winning chefs and stuff, you know, Death and Taxes, Pools Diner and stuff like that up there. And they do a lot of crazy stuff. Death and Taxes specifically, they're dedicated to wood-fired cooking only. and that's like the way their menu is set up, and I'm not gonna say that they're Michelin starred level, but I mean they're probably the closest you're gonna get around here.
Yeah.
And it is daunting to look, to look at their menu and see words you don't know, even though you're doing upscale food. That's a scary thing to look at.
And I talked to Chef Scott about like Michelin stars and whatever, and he said they wouldn't even consider coming to like Southern Pines or anything like that.
No, well, but it's because really, people look at the Michelin's like program like it's all about the food. But it's really about how much of a tourist attraction it is, how much of a destination it is,
Because, I mean, like, in Southern Pines and Pinehurst, I mean, who are your main customers?
Yeah, I mean, you got golfers,
old people.
Old people.
The average age of someone who comes in the Scott's table is, like, 50 to 60.
I mean, that's
you know what I mean?
Too, yeah. Well, actually, we've just started attracting a lot of younger people. I don't know about y'all, but we've had a lot of younger crowd come in, and that's been really surprising. A lot of our regulars were older, and then just lately, it's been younger people.
Huh. But I mean, like, they want like fine dining. I don't think like too many old people really care about.
They don't care.
Michelin
They don't
starred
care.
levels.
They like buzzwords, bro.
It's just like, yeah, let me spend $70 on my meal.
That is literally what we run into that.
That's fine.
Well, I mean, we'll be running specials and stuff with all these different. I mean, we're doing like I mean, I can't even think off the top of my head right now, but we'll run like stuff with caviar on it, or we'll do stuff with like specific sauces. We'll do foams and we'll do gels and stuff like that. And they don't care, if you put up a simple like halibut dish with like a saffron and tomato risotto or something, and then like a sauce chiron or something like that, like a tomato spiked like hollandaise, right? I've done it before. They will buy that 9 times out of 10 faster than they will buy the fancier ones, because my executive chef right now, not Chef Elliot, he's the owner and technically the exec, but we have a overall executive chef that runs the kitchen day to day. Guy's fantastic, extremely talented, and I've learned a lot from him. And he can do all kinds of crazy culinary. Like, he lives and breathes it. Like, on his time off, he's looking up different recipes and stuff, like different like, techniques and stuff like that. And he'll put up a crazy fish special, right? We might sell 10 of them. And then we'll do, on the weekends, we'll run halibut and risotto, and we will sell out every time. They do not care. They want buzzwords that they're familiar with. So when they bring in their guests from out of town, it's, I got the risotto.
Because, I mean, like, I've talked with Chef Scott before about it. I mean, he has the capacity to do incredible things. Like, he's talking about, he wants to start doing some, like, wine dinners where we do, like, a tasting menu. We actually plan to do one at the beginning of September. But,
I saw the menu posted on.
Yeah, it was kind of bad timing, and we didn't really get enough people to sign up for it. Because,
that's how that goes.
$125 a person and all this weird crap on.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've got one.
What I mean?
We're doing one on the, I want to say 28th or something like that. And I have I don't run the socials, so I don't know how like ticket sales are going, but we've got a whole menu planned, and I mean, we're doing some really interesting stuff with that, but you mostly get the same group of people that do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And they're the ones, they're like the quote unquote, like the foodies, you know what I mean? And it's always the same people.
I know Ashton's is starting to do a lot of stuff like that now.
Yeah, they're doing wine menus again. And Villaggio's doing them as well, I think, right now.
But, I mean, Chef Scott has the absolute capacity to do something like that.
Oh, 100%, I believe it.
But
you got to cater to what your audience is.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know how many 60-year-olds are going to be like, yeah, let me come to this wine tasting dinner with weird crap. I mean, he has like a clear gazpacho on it, and he has all these like
he's doing clear gazpacho. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Pretty cool.
I've seen the dudes do like the clear like tomato soup and stuff like that, where they strain it, they make the raft and strain all the color out. That's pretty that's pretty dope.
But I mean, he showed me, one time I was sitting in his office, and he was showing me like his you ever heard of like the program like Cook In?
I don't think so.
It's like an online like recipe thing
where
you
okay.
can like save like all your recipes. And I mean, he was showing me he's got like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of different recipes in that thing, and ranges from like casual dining to fine dining to like ultra fine dining, and it's just incredible the amount of stuff he can do. But it's hard to get the like audience to do it.
It's hard to get the audience, and it's hard to get the staff. Man.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I mean,
to
that's
find
another
people,
thing too. I mean,
yeah.
we've been struggling. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we went through like 2 dishwashers, and we had one guy who was cooking, and he like up and left one day, and another girl was cooking up and left one day, and servers are come and go by the couple weeks.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how that goes. Front of house turnover is always crazy, but the back of house turnover and the sheer lack of people now since COVID has been that's been wild. That's the first time I've ever seen it like this. Because normally, I mean, you got people beating down the door to work at the big name Southern Pines places. I mean, when I first started at Elliot's in 19, man, we had an application list like 20 people deep. You know, and now it's like, I mean, we're struggling to find, you know, one every 2 weeks or something like that. You know, a lot of people just jump ship during COVID. You know, they don't want to do it anymore. So all you have left is the old timers and the lifers. You know, and the younger guys. I mean, like yourself, that have decided like that they want to do this for a living. But that's so few and far between now, especially for independent restaurants. You know, you're looking at a lot of people graduating and trying to go to big corporations, chains. I mean, the resort, you know, in town is poaching
a lot of people from
talent.
like school just go to like this stupid fly in here. A lot of people from school just go to like the hotel, the resort and whatever, because you know all the benefits and whatever. Which, you know, more power to them. Whatever, do whatever you want. But it's hard to find staff that, and even with someone like me, like they couldn't hire 2 of me because, I mean, I don't have all the experience in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had to and are having to train me a bit, you know, on how they do things. So it's hard to get another guy who's, you know, fresh in school to, you know, start training and doing whatever. So it's tough to find people with the right experience who will stay.
Well, I mean, that's really that's the point. I mean, you can train someone, you know what I mean? You can always train somebody to do it. If you're willing to learn, you know, you can be trained. If you're teachable and you're willing to listen, like, I mean, something that I say every time I change restaurants or wherever I go, or if I'm doing an interview or whatever, I might know how to do it, you know what I mean? But show me how you do it.
Yeah.
Something as simple as like making bechamel. You know, or even any of the other like mother sauces, you know, if you're making velouté or whatever, you might have a way of doing it, and your way might be good, but this particular restaurant probably has a different way of doing it. You know what I mean? And you need to learn that way. So as long as you're trainable, anybody can learn to cook and learn to be really good at it. But the hardest thing is getting people who are willing to stay. People who are willing to put that time and work in to actually get good at it. You know what I mean? That's the hardest thing.
And when I started out, I ran like the fryer and like did salads and stuff like that. And now, going on 7 months later, now I'm moved over to like the grill and stuff like that. So right. I mean, it takes time, you know.
It does, yeah. It took me a long time to come off of salads. It took me a while, probably about a year, really.
Yeah.
And well, you have to commit. That's the thing. You have to commit and just grind. Just be willing to grind, man. Because I mean, it's the hours are long. The conditions suck. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people, and a lot of times the pay sucks. You know, a lot of times, especially when you're starting out, the pay sucks, and it's hard to find people willing to deal with that to get to a point where they're good at it. You got to have pride in what you do, and that's the biggest thing.
I mean, I was talking to my cousin the other day. He's 23, and he works in like the Energizer plant in Ashboro.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has moved up to like an office job now, and he's making like killer money, like double what I'm making.
Yeah.
But it's like,
you don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I don't want to sit up. No offense to him. I love him. You know, love you, Charlie. But I mean, like, I don't want to sit in the office all day in the Energizer plant. You know what I mean? Or, you know, and I don't want to go to the hotel and just get given a list of all the stuff I got to do that day.
Yeah.
And, in a huge kitchen with 40 some people, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand.
I kind of like the smaller type restaurants where it's more of a personal connection. Because
Yeah.
I mean, in the kitchen, I mean, everyone is your family.
Yeah, it is. It's a camaraderie. It's a bonding thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's something you can't really explain to anyone who hasn't worked in a kitchen.
I try to all the time, and they don't get it.
Yeah, and I mean, you go to war with those people.
No,
and
absolutely. We joke a lot that it's trauma bonding.
Yeah,
It's, you know what I mean. You're
Yeah.
bonded through having a terrible time.
yeah. And I mean, your day sucks, and so is everyone else around you.
Yeah, I mean, your day sucks in a kid. That's the craziest thing to explain to people because they never get it. They're like, why do you put yourself through it? And you always complain about it. But it's this, and Chef is very against this. Like if Chef Elliot listens to this, he's gonna be upset with me because he's very against it. But there's this macho thing about working in a kitchen where it's like, oh, dude, I work this many hours. I got, this many burns on me. You know what I mean? And it's like people revel in that, I mean, I do it myself. It's a thing where I was literally talking to my grandma about this earlier today, and she was like, you're kind of a psycho. And I was like, yeah, I mean, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be to work in a kitchen.
You have to be. Yeah, you have to be. And it's like a badge of honor, to complain about it because you love it. And
I mean, and it's a badge of honor to sit there 12 hours a day in a 100-degree kitchen.
Absolutely.
Getting burned, cut left and right.
Yeah. There's open flames all around.
Yeah.
You. I mean, people
mean,
are screaming.
Like, I don't, Scott's son who works saute, I mean, he'll show me every single time he burns some arm hair off, which happens at least once a week.
Oh, that's how I am too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it just, I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, you love it, Yeah. It's the only thing. I mean, I started front of the house at Chicken Hut when I was 15 and like a half. And
Chicken Hut.
Whatever. And then, I went to Westmoore, and that was whatever. But I mean, like, I don't know anything outside of the restaurant industry, and I don't really want to know. Like, I
mean, I worked a little bit of retail for like a year or so, and it's so different having to deal. I mean, and I to an extent I have to deal with people now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, once you move up into management, you're talking to customers.
Yeah.
And you're the regulars, and you have to go out and say hello to a table here or there. But it's different because you have to put on a front. When you're working with customers and stuff like that. But back of house, you can be yourself, and everyone around you is also being themselves. Have you ever read Kitchen Confidential? That's really what I'm just spouting off Anthony Bourdain stuff at this point. But no, you should read it. It's a really good book. It's a really interesting read. But he talks about kitchens being like the last refuge of like the misfit of like a pirate crew. I mean, you're fitting in with the misfits, and that's and that's part of it, man. You find a home there, no matter who you are. No one's gonna.
Like, the only people who work in kitchens are weird people.
Exactly.
There's no like normal person.
No.
You're all
you're all psycho.
Yeah.
Everybody is. You can tell. You can immediately tell, especially. Which, I mean, I go to the bars from time to time in Southern Pines, and you can immediately tell, even if they're not wearing a jacket or the checkered pants or anything, if they're a chef. They got the crazy eyes, man. Crazy eyes and burns all over them.
I mean, like, what sane person would go to like a hot box and burn and cut themselves for like up to 60 hours a week?
Yeah, nobody.
And like be like happy about it.
Nobody.
You know what I mean?
Nobody.
No
I'm one
sane
of those,
person. You know what I mean?
No, because I mean I'm like one of those people. Like if I'm working 6 day weeks, 7 day weeks, whatever. Like I'm like, yeah, let's get it. I mean, I'm in here. Like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I kind of like it, and you have to be born, and I think you are too, just hearing you talk about it. You have to be born to work in a kitchen. Like you're destined to do that, to be a chef. I mean, you can be a line cook or a dishwasher or something for a little bit before you do something else, but to aspire to be a chef, which is like what I'm hearing from you. I mean, you're born into that. You're meant to do that. That's it's something intrinsically pleasing about how much it sucks.
And I mean, like, even when I was at Chicken Hut, I mean, I would still go to the back, and like during like when I worked morning shifts, I would go help them like prep a little bit and like set everything up. And like I still like I love everyone there in the kitchen. I really felt like I was I don't say I was really felt like I was a part of it, but I wasn't.
Yeah,
That's kind of disrespectful to them because I wasn't back there. I mean, they worked 12-hour days, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I wasn't that, but I mean, I really felt they were my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I mean, at Westmoore and even at like Rudino's and like, now at Scott's Table, they're your family.
Yeah.
I mean, you ride or die with those people no matter what.
Even to this day, man, and this is something we got to talk about in a minute too. We got to trade Westmoore stories, man. But I still, and I left there in 2018, and I still talk to those guys that my kitchen crew. I don't really keep up with many of the servers or anything, but I still to this day have a group chat with the last kitchen crew that I worked with there, and I still talk to them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even like all the people from Chicken Hut, I still talk to. I mean, I'm best friends with everyone at Westmoore, and then I still talk to a few people from Rudino's and stuff. I mean, it's you form a bond with these people just by
just going through it. I mean,
going through it
together,
I mean, like I said earlier, your life sucks and their life sucks, and you're just
everybody's life sucks together, man.
Yeah, you just sucking together. You know what I mean?
Sucking together. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is, man. I mean, like, just recently, like, I mean, in Elliot's, we haven't had an oven, man. Like, I mean, we've been cooking. Our big convection oven is broken.
Double decker?
No, we got a single, but I mean, but it's massive. You know what I mean? And the thermostat went out like probably about a month ago, and we've been cooking out of an electric, like conventional.
Oof.
Yeah, no, it's tough, and
it's like a home kitchen oven, or like
almost. I mean, it's food grade, you know what I mean? Like, it's restaurant grade, but it's like its primary use would probably be for like catering or something. It's light, you can pick it up. One person can pick it up, and you can carry it. And we're using that, and then the oven's underneath our saute range.
Yeah,
and that's what we've been cooking, 120 people a night with, and it is tough, dude. It's tough, especially because I mean, that little thing, as soon as you open the door, it's dropping 50 degrees. You know what I mean? So we got to run it on 500 all the time, but it will never hold that temp. And everything that we do goes through the oven. Pretty much every dish, entree wise, touches the oven at some point, with the exception of like filet, strip, and elk. But I mean, even then, if they're cooked up to anything above medium, they're going in the oven. Yeah. So especially with salmons, man, we do that. We do the salmon on a cedar plank, and we glaze it so it has to caramelize, and it has to stay in there forever to be able to do that. And so that has, I mean, like most people, the amount of stress that we've been going through would be like, you'd be like breakdown point. You know what I mean? Like every day is almost, well, not every day, but almost every day is a nightmare. But then the second it's over and the second the last ticket goes out and we're all sitting outside talking about it, we're laughing about it. You know what I mean? We're like, oh, that was awesome. We did this crazy thing to circumvent this bad situation we're in, and now we're going to remember that forever. Because
I mean, like, there's those points where you walk in to get something and you close the door behind you. You're just like,
I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to stay here.
And then you kind of process everything in your mind for like 5 seconds, and it's like, okay. And then you get what you need. And you get out, and you like, your life sucks at that point. And then at the end of it, like when you go home, you're like, crap, I want to come back tomorrow and do that again. It's like the biggest adrenaline rush ever, and it's like literally a drug.
It really is. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
To be able to just get through that. Yeah. I mean, it's.
You have really like a love-hate relationship for it, because like when you're in the weeds and stuff, it's like, man, why am I out here doing this crap? And then then you just love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're like, when it's real busy and you're like rocking, you're moving, grooving.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's.
We've gotten to a point now where with us, our crew, well, the core three, we have, four, because Jill's going to listen to this. So love you, Jill. I'm not excluding you. So like the core four that have been there the longest, and myself, the other sous chef, our executive, and then Jill, she's one of our line cooks. We've gotten to a point now where we can almost run a service without talking, especially if we're on the hotline. We'll just tap, tap on the shoulder or whatever, and that's how we're moving behind, and swapping stations, and we can all work everything, and that's super cool to be so in sync. there's something about that teamwork too that's really, it's beautiful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I worked like 1 or 2 expo shifts, a few months back, where literally I'm just there calling tickets and trying to like direct what they're doing, and it's so cool because you never get to do that. You never get to stay on the other side of the pass and watch it happen. But it is awesome to watch that.
I
It's so
expoed
cool.
at Westmoore when I first started, but I didn't really expo.
Okay, so all right.
I ran food, so like I didn't communicate with the kitchen like at all
Right.
because it was all handwritten tickets.
Yeah,
they
of
got the only
course.
copy of the tickets. I couldn't see them.
That's how we were. Yeah.
I just whatever come out, they handed me the ticket. I put it on the trays. Either let the server take it or I would take it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I got to experience
Yeah.
even at Westmoore where everything wasn't the best oiled machine, I still got to experience like a kitchen run just
Right.
from me watching.
Isn't
you know
it
what I mean?
so nice though to have a printer now, dude?
Yeah.
The handwritten tickets, the worst, bro.
And my
The
handwriting
worst.
is terrible.
So
I
is mine.
still I feel so bad for everyone at Chicken Hut who had to read like my handwritten tickets. Like, oh,
I can still. Somebody sent me. Somebody from Westmoore. Not long ago sent me a picture of a ticket from way back, and I could still read it, but just barely. And I was like, God, how did I deal with that for so long? Now we got a printer,
Yeah.
and I've worked at places with the screens. That is so nice, man.
the screens.
The screens, yeah. When I worked at Applebee's, they have these big like screens up above the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a row of buttons on like right over your pass. So Applebee's was actually the biggest kitchen I've ever worked in, and Westmoore is massive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was at Westmoore, I don't know how it was when y'all were there, and I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute, but we had like 7 deep fryers, plus the grill, plus the range, plus the seafood like breader room and all that. But Applebee's like put that to shame, man. Like, I mean, we had different stations. They had a broiler station, a grill station, a flat top station, a fry station, a salad station. They had a pasta station, and it's all in one big row. And there was like 4 screens above every like station, right? And the row of buttons is right there on your pass. And when your food comes up, you don't walk it to a central location. You just put it through your pass. The whole line was set up so that the reach-ins were like here in front of you, and then your cooking equipment, your grill, your fryers, whatever, were behind you. And then you had stand-up reach-ins next to you on like 1 or 2 sides, right? So I worked fry because I was
so
only
it
there for
was
like a week.
basically your station is exclusive.
Yeah, your station is exclusive to you, and the food that comes out of it is only yours. And the servers, we had one, the GM, there's 2 GMs at all times. There's one in the kitchen and then there's one out front. And the guy that was in the back would be our expo, and he had a screen. So all the orders popped up for him, and only the orders that he would then direct them, right, to what we had to do. So he would take that order, break it down on his end, and then send it to us. So if there was an order and they had like, when I was there, they were doing the double crunch shrimp, which was awful. You got like free refills all night. It sucked, dude. But so like if there was like a steak on that too, he would send just me the double crunch, chicken tender or shrimp or whatever it was I had to drop in the fryer. And we also did salads, so he'd push salads too. And then the steak or the pasta or whatever that was on there would go to the other stations. And then you had a button to let him know, right, that
That's
you received
ready.
it. Yeah.
Oh.
And you could talk to him, but,
Oh.
because he was right there. But you had a button in there that was a fire button, and you'd press that when you dropped it, right? And then that way it would turn red, and then it would let him know that you had started the order. And then it would also turn red on the other guy's screens. And so that's how it worked. Like if the entree was on first, they would press the button and then let you know, all right, you got to get this on. You got to drop this. And then when it was ready, you'd press it and it would turn green. And then if the time ran too long, they had a ticket timer like up there beside it, and it would be constantly counting. And that was wild. It was super nice though, because I mean, you could legitimately talk to somebody that was like way across the room and coordinate what you were making so that it all came out at the same time, literally just through the push of a button. And then you pass it up, and the server runs over and grabs all the different plates from all the different stations.
Would you say that would be more hectic or like less hectic than like a place?
Oh, it
like,
was a
Elliot's?
nightmare. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I mean, like it was a logistical nightmare. It was really cool. It was a cool thing, and it was a cool concept. And if like say if like Elliot's did it tomorrow, right? we'd be able to pull it off because we're a small kitchen. We know each other. We know how we work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in a place like that where you've got a revolving door of guys, the guy training me had only been there like 2 weeks. You know, and but I mean, I knew how to run a deep fryer, so it was, you know, it was whatever. But I mean, he'd been there like 2 weeks, and so you got a constant revolving door of people, and that just creates chaos. You know, I mean, it just breeds chaos because you have guys that have been there for years and they're just banging out entrees, you know, and you're trying to figure out which cooler the onion rings are in. You know what I'm saying? I literally ran into that. You know, I was getting screamed at because we had to drop the onion straws or whatever for one of the steaks, and I didn't know where they were. You know what I mean? And I'm like looking for the kid that's training me. He's out smoking a cigarette. I'm like, all right, this is tough. I'm just digging through coolers, you know. So in a place like that, no, it's not even that big of a help, but it is a cool system.
Yeah, it seems like it would be cool. When you were talking about the free refills for the shrimp, I remember this was a long time ago. Me and my friend, we went to TGI Fridays.
Oh, tell the same thing. Yeah.
And we saw on the menu they had like endless wings, and we were like, you pay once.
Yeah.
You get all the wings you want. We were like, all right, dope.
This is happening.
Give us like 10 orders. And then our bill come back, and it was like for like $70 just from us ordering wings. And we, yeah. So that was a fun day.
Yeah. That Applebee's thing, dude, I remember, it's like, I have nightmares about it. It's like seared into my brain, dude. I mean, it was, you got 6. If you got chicken tenders, you got 6. If you got shrimp, you got 12. And then every refill after that, you got half of that. So you got 6 shrimp or 3 chicken tenders. And literally, we had a dude, I legitimately only worked there for like a week. But this guy on like my second or third day stayed literally the whole shift that I was there. And I was there like 6 hours. And he was there the entire time ordering refills. And it was absolutely gross. And I knew it was the same guy because they had like table numbers, you know what I mean? I knew it was the same one. And I was like, there is no way this dude is ordering this again. No, it was stupid. And everybody was doing it. Everybody was ordering it. Every ticket that came through Fry was the endless shrimp or tenders, man. It was awful. It was awful.
I remember working Fry at Westmoore.
Oh, I worked Fry at Westmoore.
That was fun.
Worked Fry at Westmoore for a minute. Boy, I got some stories about Westmoore.
I remember I dipped my finger in the oil one time dropping flounder. That was fun.
All right, you're from this area too. Do you know Zach Hutchins?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I watched him. I don't know if he listens to this. I'll send him the link. I watched him literally burn the whole back of his hand off in a fryer. It was the grossest burn I've ever seen. He had to stay out of work. He had to go to the hospital. We were, I don't know how y'all cleaned them, but when we were there, we had like a paint scraper, and you scraped everything down into the oil, and then you filtered the oil, right? You scraped all the like breader off the sides and stuff. He was scraping off the sides, and you know the big ones, the big Pitcos, the ones that we used to like fry flounder in. Yeah. So he's scraping the side, and you know it had that bend in it, and the scraper slipped on the bend, and his whole hand went in. Ooh. And I literally watched it bubble, and he's like, we're trying to help him like wash it in cold water, you know, and the bubble, like it bubbled up, popped, and the whole back of his hand came off. Ugh. It was horrid. It's like something out of a horror movie, dude.
Have you had an emergency room visit yet?
No, I have not had to go.
I came close. Luckily. I was at Scott's table. This was like my second week working there. And I was making like chicken salad and potato salad, and I was dicing some celery, you know. Right. Like, you know, I've done this a million times, whatever. Yeah. And then when I pulled my hand back, my finger got left out like that, and I just and it kind of cut. I guess it wasn't that close to emergency room visit, but it was kind of like it took like. Basically like half of my fingernail off, and it cut me up down here. Yeah, I mean I was, you know, the worst thing I've seen at Elliot's probably and the only other emergency room visit I've ever seen had to happen was he's actually in culinary school at Sandhills. I don't know if Josh Butler. I don't know if you know Josh. I know Josh.
Okay. Yeah, Josh is he's a character, man.
Yeah, he is. He told me he was washing dishes there the other night or whatever.
He did actually. Our dishwasher had to go get a COVID test. So sorry. So I was trying to find somebody to wash dishes. We couldn't find anybody because the other dishwasher, it was his only day off, and then the other guy, there's 3 of them, and then the other guy was already there, so we needed 2. It was a busy night, and I started literally texting like every group chat from restaurant people I was in, like even hit up my friends back here, and I was like, "Yo, do any of you guys want to come wash dishes for like some cash, man? Like we need a dishwasher bad." And so I texted Josh, and I was like, "Hey, man, listen, are you busy? Like, what are you doing? You know?" And he was like, "Nothing." This is like 2 hours later. He's like, "Nothing." And I was like, "All right, cool. Like, how fast can you get to Elliot's?" And he's like, "What? Why?" And I'm like, "We need a dishwasher. I'll pay you cash. Like, you know, I'll throw you a couple beers and like $60. Like, come through." And he did. He actually pulled up, and to the guy's credit, man, he saved us that night for real. If he hadn't been there, that would have been a toughie. That'd have been a tough one for sure. He actually even hopped in and like did a little bit of prep. I was like, I had to throw in my knife, you know. I use this massive Dow Strong like cleaver. It's like my main blade. I got big hands, man. Like chef's knives are small.
I feel you. Yeah. I had to. Does the knife truck guy visit y'all?
Yeah. Pro chef.
Yeah, I love that guy. Anyways,
he's the best.
I had a problem because all the knives I would bang my knuckles on the table.
Yeah, that's how I am too.
So he brought some to Scott's table, which had like a long height on them, and I love those, and I use them when I'm there like all the time. But I needed something for like school and like when I'm you know, by myself. So I got I think is it a 10-inch? I think it's a 10-inch, big old long chef's knife.
Yeah,
so I love that. So
like those big Gyotos, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I use that cleaver like pretty much all the time. I mean, I've got a Nakiri that's pretty nice. It's by Turwo, and then I have a chef's knife. I have a Victorinox. I don't know if you've ever used any of them. They're pretty nice. They're cheap, man. It's like $17 on Amazon. But it's a nice chef's knife. It really surprised me. It's very durable. I mean, it was my first knife, so I've had it probably about 3 years, and it's been really nice. But it's just it gets to a point where like an 8-inch chef's knife is kind of small for what I'm doing most of the time. So, and I just prefer the cleaver. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I had to throw him that night. He'd never used it before, you know what I mean? And he's like struggling with that thing, like trying to rock it. It takes a minute to learn to rock that blade because it's just I mean, it legitimately is like that tall, like no joke. So you know, he came in and he really did save us the other night for real. And honestly, man, I'm gonna be real. I don't remember what I was talking about before that story.
You talking about his visit to the emergency room?
Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you. I'm sorry. I get off on tangents, man. He hadn't been there very long, and he was trying to. We did tuna tartare with the avocado, the diced avocado, and he got the avocado hand. He was trying to like clean the knife like after he had just diced. You know, like in the skin, so you do the lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was trying to clean it, and I guess his hand slipped or whatever, and the knife literally buried into that like fleshy part in your right below your thumb, and like he was spraying blood for real. It was gross, dude. He had to go to the emergency room. We had to clean the station and close it down for a second, and you know, sanitize everything, and then we were so busy. The dude literally went and got stitched up. He's a tough little guy, man, for real. His personality, I mean, he can be a little abrasive, you know what I mean? But he's a hard worker, man, for real.
Yeah.
But he came back. He went, got stitched up, and came back and finished the service with a glove on. And then we sent him home. But I mean, that was the only other emergency room visit I've seen, and he's still got a scar. I mean, next time you see him, ask him. He's got a big gnarly scar on like his right hand from it.
I was talking to a guy who used to work at Westmoore when Yanni first opened it, and he was saying one day I can't remember what he was doing, but he had a boning knife.
Yeah.
You know, like a big long one, and a server come up behind him and bumped him. And he said it went through his hand, in between his thumb and his pointer finger.
Yeah.
It went through his hand and out the other side.
Ow, dude.
So he said that was a fun emergency visit.
That's gross, dude.
Yeah.
Are you in any of those Facebook like line cook groups and stuff?
I'm in Life of a Line Cook 2.0, but I'm
in that one too.
I had to. There's a lot of toxic people.
Oh, extremely. You just got
I muted them from my viewing them from like my Facebook homepage.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll go on it and just
and
look at the toxicity.
There was a post on there one time, and the dude literally had a paring knife stuck all the way through his hand because he got the avocado hand too. He was trying to take a pit out, and it slipped and like literally went all the way. Like you could see the knife coming out the other side.
Avocados are lethal.
Yeah, they're straight lethal. Those things will kill you, dude. And they're not that good. They're overrated. Avocado toast, disgusting.
Yanni, I can't remember if it was Yanni. Do you know Costa?
Yeah, I know Costa.
Yanni's brother.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was Yanni or Costa who was telling me this one time. But they said their uncle was standing on top of a fryer cleaning the vents. And the fryer was on, and he slipped and got his leg all the way up to like halfway to his knee, just in fryer oil. Oh. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, though. If you're standing...
You're kind of asking for it.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, if it's on, don't do that. Just don't do that.
You're asking for it.
You're asking for it at that point, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kitchen injuries are scary.
Super scary.
Did you see the video? I can't remember if it was a McDonald's or something. Anyways, but one of the fryers caught fire. And the dude runs over there and grabs like a bucket of water.
Oh, no, dude.
and pours it on it, and just a fireball engulfed like the entire, like it had like a security camera.
Yeah.
And a fireball just engulfed the entire kitchen.
I tell this story a lot, but I don't usually mention that it was me that did it. I'm usually like, yeah, this guy. When I was working at a restaurant in Lillington called Mermaid Point, and I did not at the time know how to use like a mirror oil machine to like drop fryers. I'd never I didn't. So, I mean, this is going to sound really stupid, but I mean, I'd been cooking at this point for, maybe like 2 years or something, but no one told me, and, looking back on this, yeah, stupid, stupid, should have known better. No one told me that the fryers had to be off to drain them, because I thought, I don't really know what I thought. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really know what was going through my head. But I was trying to drain them, and the Cisco truck showed up, and one of them was still on. Truthfully, I might have turned them off and then just left one. I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, it caught on fire, basically, because it was empty. So the element, straight up caught all the way on fire. And then when I went back, it was, just a little fire. So, I didn't notice it at first, right? And I'm looking down, I turn the machine back on, and I spray oil directly onto an open grease fire, and it shot all the way up, right? The flames shot all the way up and caught the hoods. The Ansel did not go off.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. But I literally turned around. I was like, oh no, dude! Flip the machine off and grab 2 boxes of salt, and I'm just throwing salt in this fryer. You know what I mean? And the Ansel came real close. When I touched it afterwards, it was boiling hot. You know what I mean? It came super close to actually going off. That would have been massively unfortunate. And yeah, that was probably the scariest moment I've ever had in the kitchen. I'm gonna be honest. I really thought the whole place was going up, because that was a rickety old building too. When I first got there, they hadn't cleaned the hoods in 2 years. They said.
I remember when I was working at Rudino's. Now that we're on the topic of just things going wrong,
yeah,
they have a big old conveyor pizza oven,
yeah,
a double decker, and I'm working the end of the oven one night, and I'm so pizzas go through once, and then you take them off the pans and you put them back through, right?
Okay,
simple stuff. I mean, I was Friday night, I think something Friday or Saturday night,
right,
running, and we had those little grabbers, the little things, and that's what you use to get the pizza pan with.
Yeah.
And I went to grab one, but the bottom of the grabber went into the little conveyor belt.
Oh,
and it stopped the whole entire machine up.
Oh no! Dude.
And the machine that's worth thousands upon thousands of dollars, where 20 pizzas sitting inside of it that are just burning because they're not moving through.
Right.
And it halted our whole entire production, because basically almost everything from Rudino's goes through that oven.
Yeah.
Besides the wings and the burgers and a couple other stuff like that. But I mean, all the pizzas, the calzones, the garlic
everything
bread,
runs through that. Yeah.
everything. So I mean, when you're running 20 pizzas at a time, and your only way to make pizza goes down. I mean, that was so. I mean, the whole entire kitchen was over there trying to get the thing.
Oh, I bet that was hectic too.
going.
I know a lot of the Rodino's kitchen, and that could not have been easy for you. I'm gonna be honest. Was George there?
Oh,
Was George there that night?
I can't remember. I remember
Ray.
Well, yeah, Ray was there. George, I can't remember if George there. I probably would have got an earful from George.
I was gonna say, bro, George.
Yeah.
I love George, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love George. I'm seeing the face. That's totally valid. I love George, man. He was our main baker at Elliot's for a hot minute.
George was?
George, yeah. So what happened was when I don't remember. I don't remember what was going on, but like a bunch of people were trying to leave Rodino's, and I tried to get Ray to come over to Elliot's. He actually worked like 2 or 3 shifts with us. But I guess Rodino's like offered him a bunch of money, and so he stayed. But George found out because he was friends with Noah, who was one of our back weights. And George found out we needed people, came over and baked, and that kid is a monster. For real. He is an incredible baker. I got much love for that dude. He came through for us in a dark time. We were like, it was getting to a point where like some of the line cooks were like starting to train on bake, and like it was, and I can't bake.
I would have never thought.
He was a natural for real, man. He did the prep list that our old baker, it took them. I remember our catering director. She's back there, like, and she's also like production because we have lunch and stuff. She does all the like prep for that, and she said that like the prep list that he did from 8 to like noon took our old baker like 8 to like 5 to do.
Wow.
He was a monster.
I mean, I know.
He's a monster.
I mean, he could run Rodino's pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
to be honest, I couldn't stand the guy.
Really?
One night he was there, and me and him were both working volume shifts. Mm-hmm. And a volume shift is where you get there at 10, and you stay, you work all through lunch, and then you'll stay kind of some of dinner.
See how busy it is, and then
and then they'll kind of send you home. On real busy nights, you might stay all throughout dinner service.
Yeah, that's how we are.
As it's slowing down, they'll send
we got
you home.
volumes too. Yeah.
So, anyways, but me and him were working volume one day, and before you go, you have like some cleaning stuff to do. Mm-hmm. Like you have to like mop the walk-in and like I can't remember. Just like a bunch of stuff like that. So anyways, so I'm like talking to Ray because Ray's the kitchen manager over there. Right. And I'm like, hey, Ray, because it was really before dinner had started. And I was like, let me go ahead and get some of that.
Get some of that done like early. Yeah.
That way, I can go home. And like George does none of it.
That's valid. George is there from what they told me, basically just to be around. Like he's just kind of he's still there. I don't know if you know that or not.
Well, and then I got pretty much all of it done, and then Ray told me just chill out. As soon as it starts slowing down, or if it's not that busy, we'll send you home. Mm-hmm. And then we get there and it starts getting a little busy, and I'm like, and then Ray starts complaining about going, or not Ray, George starts complaining about how he wants to go home. Mm-hmm. And Ray was like, well, Colby's been sitting there getting all the prep work done. I told him he could go home first. George throws a fit. Nah. And Ray tells him, get out, don't come back. So
that's tough.
He technically got fired that night.
I think he's been fired from Rodino's like on a few occasions.
I think they said that's like the second time he's got fired from Rodino's.
I was gonna say
he's back now.
Yeah, he's back. I was in there last week and I saw him actually. Yeah. And then they have that dude in a polo shirt, and it was
George
shocking. I know. It was
the guy
shocking.
who wore the same clothes every single day.
George, the track pants, the Adidas track pants, and the Crocs.
He always wore the jeans, the Crocs, and like the dark blue shirt with the buck on it, and like the
always
the net hat.
Yeah, always.
The guy who drives a squatted truck. That guy.
I don't know if he drove. I don't actually remember what George drove. Now that I'm thinking about it,
the red. I think it's a Silverado.
Blonde dude, big crazy eyes. Yeah. George, the homie.
Ethan.
Ethan, the rapper. Ethan.
No, Ethan from Rodino's.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
blonde hair guy.
Oh, Abby told me about him. The only reason I said the rapper, we had a line cook at Elliot's that was friends with all of them. He's like George's best friend, but he's like a rapper now or something. No, Abby told me about Ethan, but I never actually met him.
Love that guy. Me and him, because during like busy nights, I would work like the oven, and he would kind of work. I don't know what you call it. He would kind of put everything together. Mm-hmm. So he would I would be like getting the pizzas out, cutting them, boxing them, or getting them ready to go out. He would, and getting like the oven stuff, he would get all like the wings and stuff and kind of work the tickets and stuff like that. Anyways, me and him would run that place. Yeah. I love Ethan.
I think Colin, Colin, the server? Yeah, he told me, he was like praising Ethan the other day, last time I talked to him. He also did not care for George. Everybody that I've told like how much I respect George is like, oh man, I don't like that dude. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe he was different when he was with us.
I don't know. I mean, the person you're talking about doesn't sound like the person I have in my head, but
it's definitely. I'm telling you, it's the same guy, man. Because I was in there the other day and he's back, and he had actually joked a few times when he was with us about how many times he's been fired from Rodino's. Because I remember when I actually interviewed at Rodino's like a long time ago. Like probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago now.
That was before Rob was there, right?
Yeah. Well, so I was supposed to also be in the running for Rob's job. Huh. Because I already had a lot of experience from Elliot's. I wasn't sous chef there yet. Mm-hmm. But I already had a lot of experience, and they were looking for somebody to help Ray and like potentially be like over, you know what I mean? Like over him, because he's never worked anywhere but Rodino's, you know? They were like, oh yeah, like an Elliot chef coming, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I interviewed there, and all I remember was Doug, like just name dropping George on several occasions and just slandering the man's name, you know what I mean? And I was like, dude, I mean, he can't be that bad. And then like when I never met him, and then when he actually got to Elliot's, like, I mean, I'm telling you, I love that kid. He, but I mean, he worked, you know, I didn't work with him every day. I mean, 'cause I was dinner kitchen, he was our morning baker. So,
I mean, like, besides like the low parts, he seemed like a pretty cool guy. And I mean, he did his job pretty well. Yeah. You know, I mean, he could run.
I mean, he's a real no nonsense dude. Though,
yeah.
You know, I mean, we had another prep cook there. I'm not going to name names, but we had a prep cook at Elliot's, and they did not get along, like even a little bit, because she would always she'd be outside like smoking or on her phone or whatever, and George is in there doing both of their prep lists, you know, and he could do it faster if she wasn't there. Like seriously, he could do the work of two people.
Yeah, that
if she was
like
not
George.
in his way. Yeah. He's a cool guy. I like George.
Yeah, but Colin, I love that man.
Colin is super cool. Have you done the Randy Savage talk with Colin? You ever had that one?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, brother! Like he'll be doing that to you all the time. Oh no, Colin's a cool guy. He came over to my apartment once because I live with Jake Myers. I don't know if you worked there when he was there. He was bartending there for a minute.
I don't think so, but I think I've heard Abby talk.
It's
about
Abby's
him
brother.
Before.
Yeah, it's Abby's brother.
Yeah.
So he's friends with Colin. They're really good friends. And Jake's my roommate. So he came over there one night.
Wait, the guy with the beard and the long
tattoos?
Hair? I know who you're talking about.
The Star Wars
Jake.
tattoos?
He was there for like a week when I joined.
Yeah. He came to Elliot's, yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, so that's my roommate. And so Colin came over there one night and like immediately, I mean, he'd been drinking a little bit, you know, but he immediately turns on like old like 80s wrestling clips. And I'm like, dude, what is happening right now? Because I'd only ever met him like once, and it was at Rodino's.
Yeah.
So I had no idea who this guy was, like as a person, you know what I mean? And then I found out quickly, like he's literally sitting there like quoting these videos to me and like tapping me, he's like slapping me on the arm, you know what I mean? Talking about, oh, this one's the one, man. This is the one. He's doing like the handshake of power and everything with me. Yeah. Colin is a fascinating individual.
I love that man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I asked him to come on here to record an episode way back when I was first doing it. And which his schedule, I mean, right now, as far as I've heard, he works Monday through Sunday or Tuesday through Sunday there. Yeah. And, you know, when you work 6 days a week, your seventh day
is spent sleeping and doing laundry.
Yeah.
Every time.
Pretty much.
Every time.
So And again, like a scheduling thing in this business.
Oh, it's the worst.
You know what I mean?
Especially right now.
But anyways, I love that man. Did you ever meet Jack?
He was the prep guy, right?
Prep guy.
Oh boy,
Big
no.
guy.
I heard a lot of stories about how disgusting of a person he was.
But
he could cook, so I've heard.
He got the prep done. I mean, he was 400, 500 pounds. But I mean, he would come in there and he'd get his stuff done.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew what he was doing and he would get it done.
Well, Abby, yeah. So the only reason I even know who the guy is because Abby was working with him some when she moved over to do mornings. Mm-hmm. And then she was working with him and she was like, yeah, he's a worker, but he's kind of gross. He's like huge and smelly.
He doesn't like he didn't like do production stuff at all.
Yeah.
He never, I mean, he would walk over there and grill him a burger. Yeah. But besides that, I mean, he was never on even like that side of the line. Mm-hmm. He just stood at like the end of the, because they have like a double line. Like this side does like salads and up here you do grinders. And then on this side, like over here is like the,
it's that crazy like big wooden contraption in the middle of the, okay. Yeah.
And then I went in that kitchen like the stuff in the middle. Yeah. So he would stand at the end of it and he had his cutting board and he would do nothing but just cut his stuff and get his prep work done and go home.
Yeah.
He was a workhorse and that's all he did. But I mean, kind of a disgusting person.
That's what.
That sounds kind of mean. I don't want to be mean to anyone, but I mean, like, I love that man.
Yeah. Know? No, I mean, Abby always said he
was a character to talk to, though.
Yeah. That's kind of that's always the thing that I got from him. Yeah.
But you were talking about Doug, man. I love Doug.
Doug was a funny guy, man. I think I kind of upset him because I straight up just never called back after that interview.
Yeah.
I don't think he cared for me much.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after I tried to poach his employees too. Like, I mean, I was headhunting, you know. Yeah. Not proud of it, but I mean, I knew what was going on over there, and I knew what was going on with Elliot, and I was like, all right, you know, come on, you know, I got some money for it, you know. But no, I wasn't like that. But I mean, Doug was like pretty big on like he wanted me to come over there. And he was talking to me about like my schedule and like, you know, what like the whole role and everything. Gave me a tour of the place, like walked me down the menu and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I guess they started talking to Robert, and he had obviously a lot more experience than me.
Yeah, he was at CCNC,
sous chef
for a long time.
Yeah, and then. I guess he took the job, and so then they tried to call me back just a line cook for him, and they gave me a pretty cash money schedule. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it was like
they got the hours there.
I mean, they told me basically I could work swings like anytime I wanted. So you know, I mean, I could come in at 10 and you know work until 10 if I want, or I can come in at 10 and work until 5, or you know I can do. They gave me like free scheduling ability. Mm-hmm. And then I just never called back. Like he like left me a voicemail with all that information, and I was just like, all right, because I had decided to stay at Elliot's by that point.
Did you ever meet Jamie?
Yeah,
Doug's wife?
I know Jamie.
She's pretty cool.
Jamie's a character.
And so is everybody.
Jamie was very, very nice and very welcoming to me. I know like her relationship with some other people is a little shoddy, so so I don't, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna speak ill of anyone, but you know, just judging by reputation from other people, Jamie's alright.
Did you ever meet Tyson?
She's very nice. No, I don't think so. I don't think I met Tyson.
Has Abby ever talked about him?
The name sounds familiar.
Tyson is a character. Now, as far as like, I don't know. Tyson is like a character. I don't know how to describe him. He's just Tyson.
I think Tyson was one of the ones she said she really liked.
Yeah, I mean, even though, I mean, if we're just being honest, he wasn't the hardest worker there. Mm-hmm. And Tyson, if you listen to this, I love you, bro. But I mean, just being 100% honest.
Yeah.
But you couldn't hate the guy no matter what. And you can't. He's one of those people you just kind of have to meet him and be around him to understand him. Yeah. Like, it's hard to talk about, but I mean, Tyson was. He was a character.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of those people. I mean, they don't necessarily like work super hard, but they're cool, you know. Yeah. I mean, I had when I was at Westmoore, like my whole dish crew was kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, at any given time, you're they're off, outside in the parking lot doing some real like DJing stuff and some real like degenerate activities, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds like Westmoore.
Slacking off and but they were super friendly, you know. They traveled in a pack, man. There was like 5 of them, you know, and they all worked together all the time. They're best friends outside of work. And I hung out with them a handful of times, and I mean,
yeah, that sounds like the people, because there were specifically 2 people, Chris and Armando, who they worked at Chicken Hut, and then when we all moved to Westmoore, they went to that the place that builds the mobile homes on Plank Road.
yeah, HBS. Yeah.
They went there for maybe about a month or so, and then they came to Westmoore. But I mean, they are inseparable.
Yeah.
They have an apartment now in Robbins, but they are. I don't want to talk crap about them. I really don't, because you can't stand to not love them.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I love them. You know, they're like my brothers. They really are.
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna talk crap about them.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the kind of stuff that we would all get into at Westmoore would be some pretty weird stuff going on in there.
I'm telling you, man.
But I mean,
yeah, I'm keeping it PG for the podcast, but I mean, I have some stories, boy, from Westmoore days, man.
like some things were.
Westmoore was tough. I barely survived it. You know, it was a battleground.
But I mean, like, some things, like, you could probably sue some people in there.
Oh yeah,
just based on
100%. Westmoore. When me and Abby actually worked there too. I don't know if you know that. When me and her were there, that place was a hive of villainy. You know what I mean? Like, it was bad, man.
It's weird that we worked with like 2 totally different groups of people there, because I don't think anyone was the same.
Did Crystal come back? Crystal Bartholomew?
She came back
briefly
for like the first couple months.
That's how
he
it was.
opened, I think.
That's how it was with Lewis when I was there with Salt and Pepper. She came back very briefly. She was there for like 2 weeks, and then was like, this isn't the Westmoore I remember, and left. Which, I mean, valid. She was there forever, because I worked under Shirley when I was there first. I worked for her, and then Jesse from Casa Garcia.
Yeah,
he bought the place, and then well, technically, I closed it down with him, or I didn't close it down, but I left under him. But we had 4 GMs during that time period. So it was Shirley, and then she sold to Jesse, and then Jesse managed it for like a couple months, and then it was a dude named Joe, and then it was Jonathan Gomez, and then it was Crystal. And so we had just a revolving door of bosses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I worked with so many different people and so many different like versions of that restaurant. It's mind blowing. And I actually haven't even been in since Yanni's owned it. I've had food from there.
Yeah, he's changed it. There's only like 4 fryers now, there's 4, and it's either 4 in the Hush Puppy fryer or 3 in the Hush Puppy fryer. You remember the Hush Puppy fryer?
Yeah, the one with the crank arm on it. Yeah, well, so it used to be when we were there, breader room, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Seafood room. Okay, so it was that, and then when you first come out, on the left on the line, there was the bloomin' onion fryer. We had a fryer just for blooming onions and like potato wedges and stuff. We do some stuff like that in there. And then there was 3 different fryers with baskets. So we would do like oysters, shrimp, fries, all that stuff in. Not all in the same one, obviously, but there was 3 for that. So we're up to 4 at this point. Then there was the 2 fish fryers. There's a big one for the flounder and a big one for catfish. And then the Hush Puppy fryer. And then the rest of the line was like grill, prep table, range, flat top, dish pit. And then the front side was the actual like plating line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sandwiches and then salads on the other side.
The way it was when I was there, they put a reach in, one of the tall ones, in the seafood room.
We had 2. I don't know if are they still there, or were
I don't think so, because I helped a lot when Yanni was opening it. Right. I would come there on my days off and just chill and just hang out with him. And have you ever met Spiro?
I don't think so.
I love Spiro.
I've heard the name.
Oh, I love that man. I miss him so much. He went to I don't know if he owns it or he runs it, someplace near Charlotte. I've been meaning to go visit him one day. I mean, I love that man.
Yeah.
He was technically my first chef.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Quote unquote.
Ish. My first authoritative figure in a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I love that man. Anyways, but Spiro would be there and me and Yanni would be there and we would just, I helped him do like a couple, he would do like rent out the big room in the back for a couple things.
Parties and stuff, yeah.
Before they opened, and I would help him. We'd do like catering stuff.
I know a ton of that equipment was busted by the time Yanni got it, probably. Because, I mean,
like
we were using
the buffet stuff.
Did Lewis leave that there?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know if he left all there, but
boy.
I mean, there was a couple
he cut his
of the
losses.
big buffet things that were just sitting out in the big party room.
Really?
I can't remember if we put them in the attic or we got rid of them. I can't remember.
Those attic stairs, are they still super sketch? I fell down those things like 3 times.
Woof.
Yeah.
Did the light flicker when you was up there?
All the time.
Yeah, it's still like
super
that.
super spooky up there.
Yeah.
The big painting of the sailboat on the wall for no reason. Yeah. That upstairs gets super creepy. That upstairs
was that little glass case thing there?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's some weird stuff.
It's some weird stuff in there. That whole restaurant's gross.
Yeah.
Well, not gross, but it's like it's old and it's haunted and yeah, I can't believe Lewis left the equipment. I mean,
I don't know if he left all of it, but I know there was some buffet line stuff.
We were working with. Did Yanni bring his own fryers and like grill and stuff, or was it the Westmoore equipment? The Magic Kitchen, the big double bar Magic Kitchen grill, and then...
No. Okay. I think...
Are the pressure fryers still there, or were they?
They are there. We don't...
The Henny Pennies?
We didn't use them.
They're terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
Terrifying. I've used them a couple times. Straight boil-over machines.
But I think all the fryers were there, I'm pretty sure. I know we had the... I know the flat top was gone.
Yeah, because he bought that for that was probably the most expensive piece of equipment in there.
Was the grill you talking about like maybe this wide with like the bars and stuff?
No, this thing was huge. So the Magic Kitchen grill, which I don't. So Shirley may have, because Yanni actually bought the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
he bought the building. He's not renting it.
I think he's leasing it.
Okay, well, because Gary and Shirley had discussed. Taking some of the equipment out that they like actually thought was like valuable, and that Magic Kit, that grill, I mean, that thing it's like the size of this table.
That wasn't there when we was there.
Okay, no, it was huge, dude. It was big, double sided. It had like 4 drip pans under it. I mean, you could cook. I mean, Valentine's Day one year, I remember we did 100 ribeyes that night. Oof. And we were able to fit, I want to say 20 on it at once.
Was the broiler there?
No, that broiler came later. There was a broiler that was at Westmoore when I first got there.
The double-decker one?
Yeah, it was junk. No, the one that Yanni has, I think, is one he brought.
Okay, yeah.
Because the one that was there when I first started, we had to throw out because it was burning people. The door wouldn't stay shut. So
no, we had like a little conveyor broiler.
No, this thing had a tray.
Yeah,
and
that's something different.
Yeah, the tray wouldn't shut, and you'd walk out of the breader room and bump into it, and we all had like big gnarly burns on our upper arms from it.
Did they have the little warmer thing on the line? That might have been somewhere else, and Yanni moved it there. Like put sheet pans in it.
Oh yeah. That thing, it was in a couple different spots. When I was there with Westmoore, it was. Over on the right side of the line by the breader room. That's where we kept like baked potatoes and stuff. We'd do like 100 baked potatoes pre-service and just slap them in there. But when I was there with Lewis, it was plugged in actually in the back server station, because that's where we kept the buffet line stuff. We just like sandbagged everything and stuck it in there. That salt and pepper was gross, man. That place is tough.
But when I was there in the seafood room, we had a reach-in, and I guess it was new because I remember when Yanni brought it there. And then, like, you walk out, we had, like, a little breading station, and then we had, I think it was 3 fryers, and then the Hush Puppy fryer.
Right.
And then we had that warmer thing, and then we had the double-decker little broiler thing. I mean, that thing was, with the little It's like a pizza oven.
Right, yeah,
like
yeah.
But it was tiny. I think with the extender, where the conveyor belt goes in and out.
Yeah.
It's maybe like that wide.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So, I mean, it was
yeah, we had a big stand-up
tiny
one.
little thing.
We had
Yeah.
a big stand-up one.
And then it was that, and then we had a grill, like a barred grill.
Yeah.
And then we had, I know the range was new because I remember Yanni brought it there.
Yeah.
It was like a 6-burner range, and then it had a little bitty flat top on it, which was that wide, about that long.
Oh, that's tough.
Wasn't worth a crap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I know now it's changed a lot. And then, was there like a little, like bottom reach-in unit right there? Like if you walk out of the seafood room, it's right there on your right.
No, but there was salads was over there, so they had the reach-ins. They had like cooler stations right there beside it.
There was one right there. That was for like we cut like the seafood stuff in it.
So we had in the breader room there was a reach-in. Well, there's 2 reach-ins actually. There was a reach-in for all of our seafood, and then there was another reach-in freezer
For like fries.
Yeah, fries, jalapeno poppers, stuff
like
sticks,
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
Did when you were there? Did the outside freezer work again? Dude,
It's working for us.
Dude, we broke that thing.
The door was crap on it, and it would get frozen too.
Boy.
We'd have to bust it open.
One of the GMs that was there, I used to pull dish shifts too. I mostly cooked, but I would pull a dish shift here and there. Mm-hmm. And he told me to go outside and mop the freezer with it on.
And did you do it?
Yeah, well, because I didn't care. I was getting paid like $8, $8 an hour. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. If he wants to ruin this, he can. So the floor, I don't know if it's still like this, but the floor is like super bowed up in the middle.
Wait, he told you to do that literally? He wasn't like messing with you?
No.
Because
literally.
like one day Yanni come up and he's like, go mop the freezer.
Oh, no, it's a GM.
And I was like, it was just starting. I didn't know.
Common kitchen.
I was
prayer,
like, okay. And he started laughing at me and he's like, it's just a joke. You're not supposed to mop a freezer.
No, you're not supposed to mop a freezer. Yeah.
Oh.
I knew that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I had been there long enough at that point. Like, I knew, and this guy was just not smart. So I don't know. The sheet metal on the floor. I don't know if it's like this when you were there, but it was like it's cracked, like in the middle.
I think so.
It's like popped up.
Like that. Yeah.
Popped up. Yeah, that was me. I did that. The guy literally was like, "No, go outside with a hot water hose and spray the freezer out and then mop it." And I was like, "Dude, that's
stupid."
I was like, "That's not gonna." I'm like, "It's not gonna work, man." And he was like, "No, I'm telling you, just do it. It's gross out there. Like, it needs to get mopped." I was like, "Dude, I can sweep it. Like, I can, I'm like, I'll degrease it and scrub it. I'm like, I'm not mopping it." And he was like, No, you can mop it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I mopped it. And then he comes out and he's like, "Looks good in here." I'm like, "Yeah, it looks real good right now till it freezes." I'm like, and then the floor is gonna, and like literally, like we went out there 2 hours later and the floor popped up from all the water under it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy was an idiot. So we did that, and then when I was there with Lewis, the compressor went out on it, and rather than pay somebody to come and fix it, he tried to do it himself. So me and him got up on the roof of the freezer and took it apart, and then he couldn't figure out how to get it back together. So we just left it there. Like, didn't even, we just didn't use it anymore. We just used the little one that's on the inside walk-in,
I think it's tiny, the little bitty one.
It's the worst. Yeah. I used to get so afraid I was going to get stuck in there, dude. Like, that was like my worst fear. I went in there one time and the light bulb had died. Oh, God. And the door shut behind me, and it was immediately just like it was a terrifying moment.
At Scott's table, because we have a produce cooler on this side, and you go all the way across the kitchen, and then we have our meat walk-in, and the freezer, the door is in the meat walk-in to the freezer, right. And that door is a bit weird. So most of the time, this was like the first month I worked there, I would walk in and kind of leave it cracked or whatever, get my fries or whatever, and then I remember one day I walked in there and like the door fully shut behind me, and I couldn't get it back open. So I had like that minute of panic because they have like the safety.
Yeah, you unscrew the
whatever.
Latch or whatever.
But I mean, it was you have to do it. You have to push it like really hard and like push on the door while you're doing it.
Yeah,
there's like a technique to it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I started to freak out. I was like, holy crap, do I need to like call the restaurant to come and get me?
Just like pounding on. There's no service in those things. Just pounding on the door, you know?
Yeah. So,
Anyways,
I got it open.
We actually just, like last month, our walk-in had gone down. I don't know if I told you about this when I was texting you about it, but we had to get a new walk-in. So we were working out of a refrigerated truck. Like Cheney Brothers, the food vendor, they came and dropped off a refrigerated truck for us, like one of the big 18-wheelers.
We had to work one of those at Chicken Hut when we was getting
okay, so you know,
walk-ins.
yeah, so you know,
them things are like a death trap.
Oh, they suck, dude. We actually got to a point where we weren't using the stairs anymore because you know, like if you put too much pressure on the back of the stair, it goes up and you trip.
Yeah.
So we stopped using them, and we had one of those little like painter benches. And we were just taking the first step up on that and then just like pulling ourselves into the truck, like straight upper body strength, man. But we actually locked a girl on it by accident. I was coming in. She was out there and I knew she was out there, but it didn't register with me. And so I came in and the door was still open on it. And so I came in and was going back to the line. And then Andrew, the other sous chef, he was walking out. And he goes out there and I guess was like talking to somebody in the parking lot, one of the servers getting there or something, and noticed like, oh, the door's open. He's like, and he knew he just passed me in the hallway, so he knew I was back inside. So he shut the door and locked it, right? Turned the light off in there. And comes back in like 10 minutes later, 10 or 15 minutes later. And he's like, yo, Nate, man, why'd you leave the door open, bro? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I didn't leave the door open. He's like, yeah, you did. I was like, no, dude. I was like, dude, Elizabeth's on the truck, man. And he was like, no. You know, he goes running outside. And we're laughing, you know, but I mean, we felt bad, but we're laughing. He's like, Elizabeth, keep breathing. Keep breathing. And we got because I guess, I don't know why. Well, actually, no, I do know why the safety screw on the inside of that particular truck, the glow in the dark was gone. So she couldn't see it. She just happened to have her phone light, and she was like feeling around in there. And so we get the door open, and and we throw the door open, and she's standing there shivering. She's like this little tiny girl. She was a line cook. She's in culinary school, but she's diminutive. You know what I mean? Weighs like probably 80 pounds. And she's like shaking her fists at Drew, like she's like trying to hit him. And he's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, you locked me in there. And it was literally her last day. So to this day, I talked to her like a week or two ago, and she claims that it's not true, but I swear she probably thinks we were playing a joke on her. But it like really legitimately, we did not mean to do it. But it was I'm not gonna lie, it was really funny. After she was out, it was really funny.
I remember the one we had at Chicken Hut. That thing got cold.
Super cold.
Cold. Like,
stuff freezes on there.
And when, I can't remember, but because you walk in and it's like the fridge part, and then they have like the little door thing. You walk through that and it's like the freezer part.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the floor would freeze over. I mean, it was frozen over by the time.
Yeah,
so
that's how ours was.
You got no traction when you was walking in there, and the whole thing's like pitch. Ours didn't have a light.
Oh,
so you had to take a little. Maybe
straight operating by flashlight.
Did it have a light? I can't remember, but I remember I would use my flashlight.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, ours had a light on it, and ours had I mean, you could have it be a freezer because they had the dividers where you could do that. But we had ours to sit, like the whole thing was set to like 34 degrees or something.
Yeah.
The biggest struggle for us that we didn't realize, and we lost a lot of product because of this the first like 2 days, those things have dehumidifiers on them, and they will pull all the moisture out of the air.
Huh.
Yeah. At least this one that we had did. We didn't know it. And so we left a bunch of steaks that were cut and they were drying to be vac sealed. That's how we always do them. Like in our walk-ins, we cut them, leave them on a tray, and then they air dry for a day, and then we'll vac seal them and then use them. They just grow better that way. And so we go out there like the next day, and the salmons that we had left covered in salt to like pull the impurities out, and all the steaks and everything were like jerky, dude. Like it was bad. And we got them inside, and we're like we had like paint brushes with water on them, like trying to like fix it, you know what I mean? And we lost a little bit of it, I'm not gonna lie, but that was the scariest thing when we found that out. We lost a lot of produce because of it too.
we've been having walk-in problems at Scott's table, which I think it's kind of. We had to get a whole new unit for our produce cooler. Our meat cooler, we had to get like a new compressor for it, and it's just been like one thing after another. When you get one fixed, and then
it comes in threes, dude. I mean,
our ice machine is not working too well now, and at one point it was like our server reach in wasn't working, and it's just one thing after another. Our refrigeration guys are there basically once a week.
Who do you guys use?
Randy.
Oh, it's not Slack. It's not Rick Slack.
No.
Oh, it's tough.
It's Randy something. I can't remember his last name.
Oh, okay.
But
as I say, Rick Slack he's the dude.
Yeah, but Randy does pretty good. I remember one day. Thankfully, I wasn't there to witness this because, we close like Saturday, and we're closed, or Saturday night,
right?
And then we're closed Sunday and Monday, and then Tuesday we get there and it's our prep day, and then we reopen like Wednesday.
Right.
So, during this time, I had like a class at school that was Tuesday morning. So like they would all get there at like 9, and I would get there like a little after 10 because I had a class at school. And I remember I got there and I could smell it. Our meat cooler had been sitting all weekend.
No. Gone out on like a Saturday night. Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, that happened to us at Westmoore once with that reach-in that was in there. All of our fish and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. It was gross, dude. Because we were closed on Mondays. I think Yanni runs like a similar schedule.
Yanni's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah. So we would run a half day on Sunday. We close at like 3 on Sunday, clean. And then we'd reopen on Tuesday morning. So when we got in Tuesday morning, I used to open there too. We'd go in at like 9 o'clock. We would unlock the doors, walk in, whole restaurant stanking, man. And go to the back. We'd go to the back, and that reach in, it was still on because the little display on the top was it was reading 67 degrees in there.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. It was bad.
But I mean, thank God I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I wasn't the one who opened the door to it.
Well,
but I mean,
the grossest, the worst smell was you ever smelled the chicken livers after they've gone off when they're bad?
I never smelled chicken livers. We had a bad box of chicken, just straight up like chicken breasts.
Oh, those are tough too.
Oh,
chicken in general stinks, dude.
And because I live on a chicken farm, so when I was little, I would have to go and pick up like dead chickens.
Yeah, you gotta get the deads, yeah.
And when they would rot, like when you miss one a day and it would rot by the next day, there's that smell.
Hard.
And
awful.
It smelled like what them chicken breasts smelled like.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean,
it was very nostalgic for me. It brought me back some memories.
Yeah. The livers thing, sometimes on Mondays, well, every Monday, but sometimes I would do it. There'd be a cleaning crew at Westmoore. Go in, pull the fryers out, mop behind them and stuff like that. But we used to close around Christmas for 2 weeks, and I guess somebody on a Monday, they were emptying the reach-ins out at the cleaning crew day, and we're putting everything in either the freezer or the big walk-in outside. And I guess somebody missed like a tub of chicken livers, and they're in these plastic containers, and they had put it up top, the where we used to keep the breader bowls and stuff.
Yeah.
Up top by the window on the left. Put it up there on the top shelf. So when we came back 2 weeks later, on a Monday, we walk in, the restaurant smells horrible. We couldn't find it, we couldn't find the smell. And we finally, we knew it was coming from the breader room. We checked everything, couldn't find it. And we look up, right? And this tub is bloated, dude. It was like a balloon. They were in plastic containers, and it was expanded, and we literally put gloves on, and you could smell it through the tub, and grab a trash bag, and we try to get it down, and it literally, the top exploded the second we touched it, dude. And it was on the ceiling, man. Still to this day, thinking about it gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. Gives me the willies. That was gross, dude. Restaurants, I mean, sometimes just in general can be very, very disgusting places.
I mean, have you ever cleaned a grease trap?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
Oof.
The smell of one getting pumped out, the underground traps. Yeah. Have you seen the they're prominent online now. People are, for some reason, it's like a thing, they post them. But the like fat logs that get stuck when they empty out gray water tanks sometimes from like the dishwashers, sometimes like the like there'll be like a solidified like mass, like a fat from like grease being dumped down off the plates and stuff. And like they're these big like jelly logs. Ugh. Oh, dude, I saw one in person one time. Like at Salt and Pepper, the dishwasher was stopped up. We couldn't figure out why. We went under the building and like took the U pipe off. And it was in the bottom.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was super gross. And that's really interesting about restaurants being like gross like that, because I mean, you know, your guests never see that.
No.
You know, because I mean, we have to stay so clean all the time, but there's so much maintenance that goes into that you see some horrible stuff, straight nightmare fuel stuff.
I think we came into Westmoore one day, and the you know how you put like maybe like a ninth pan up by the vents to catch any of
catch the grease and stuff.
Apparently it had like rained, and there was like a leak, and it got into the vents.
Yeah, and it leaked down through the
overfilled that thing, and it was just all behind the line, like a big
pile of it.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's the stuff that like when you go out to eat, and I promise you, if anybody's listening to this that has never worked in restaurants, right? I promise every restaurant is like that. Even the ones that you think is like super, super clean, they are all that way. And you have to work every single day to make sure that it's clean and up to standards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you got to do it every single day. The maintenance on restaurant equipment and keeping it clean. I mean, you would not believe. I mean, you think about how like gross like your stove like at home gets after you cook like one meal. You know what I mean? But then you're cooking for 150 people. And
like every day,
and you think about the wear and tear and the amount of stuff that gets on the floors, and yeah, it's shocking. It was shocking. I don't know about you, but like when I first started cooking, I was like, wow. Even though this kitchen, because when we were there, Westmoore had 100 sanitation grade. It was like we were very clean. And I think Elliot's right now has like a 97, 98 or something like that.
We just got 100.
You just got 100? Awesome. Yeah, good for you.
Brag.
No,
I didn't
100%,
do anything.
man.
I just cooked there. But.
I mean, like having 100 is tough. I mean, like when they're there, like everybody's wearing hair nets, and you know the sanitizer buckets are the right temperature and all kinds of stuff that like you just would normally forget about. You know what I mean?
And like that label, that thing in the back that you prepped. You know, it's Wednesday and you prepped that last Tuesday. Yeah. And it's sitting like all the way in the back. And
you gotta find it, you gotta throw it out.
Yeah.
You gotta find it, throw it out.
And when you see the car pull up, you go in the walk-ins and you find
gotta go. The dash.
I remember when I was at school, because they have sanitation, like the health inspector comes to school. It was sandwich day for Garmager class, and I had made a remoulade for our shrimp po' boys,
right?
And I just wrapped it and I threw it in like the walk-in, because we were going to use it like literally less than an hour later.
Right. So it's not.
So I just threw it on the top shelf, like,
whatever.
I'll be back. Get this in like no time.
Yeah.
Health inspector shows up. He is standing in the walk-in, talking with like one of the chefs. So I just kind of walk in behind him, and
you reach up slightly,
and then I just backed out.
Yeah.
So
the dash is always. When Josh's first day at Elliot's, right? We had to do the dash because the health inspector showed up, and he was with me, and I was on saute then, and I was supposed to be training him, and our exec looks at me and he's like, "Yo, health inspector just pulled up outside," and I'm like, "Oh no," you know what I mean? It's like that TikTok noise, like, "Oh no," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he's like, "You gotta hit the walk-in like right now." And I'm like, "Oh, I bet." And he's like, "Take him with you." And I'm like, "Well, what's he gonna do?" He's like, "He's gonna label stuff. You tell him what to label." So we literally run in there, and I've got my marker, and he's got the tape. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "Yo, this." And I'm like trying to remember what dates we made it, or what date the produce came in and stuff like that. Because, I mean, when you're running an operation as big as ours, man, you forget to label stuff, inevitably. Because the trucks come in and it's a $10,000 truck and not everything gets labeled, you know, and then you got to double check. And at the end of the night, like every single night, we go in and we do the labeling. But this time, I mean, the health inspector pulled up at like 12:30. Like we had just gotten there. So it was a race, dude. It's a race. Yeah. That's the dash is something I feel like every person in a restaurant knows about. The health inspector race.
I remember we had made French onion soup the week before. And like Michael, which is Scott's son, he had like all these onion skins left over that he was going to make stock with eventually. Like, you know, like one of those big...
The deep Lexans?
Yeah. He had like a whole one of those just full of onion skins.
Yeah.
That was like last Tuesday, and this was like a Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as soon as the health inspector got there, he grabs them and immediately like makes stock out of it because he's not going to hold on.
You gotta be quick about that. Yeah.
But you know, a bunch of other stuff we just gotta discard of. I remember we had a thing of buttermilk that went out the day before.
Yeah, you just got. I mean,
and it's just like, man,
you just gotta toss it. I mean, buttermilk. It's probably fine. You know, it's fine. You know,
buttermilk. You know,
I mean, and even honestly, dude, even like cream that's a day over, you can still use like 100% a day or two over. It's no biggie.
It's like, man,
but you gotta put yourself through that test first, though. You know, if you think it's off, you gotta taste it first, and then you know. But yeah, that sucks. I've had to do some foul stuff because of that. But yeah, I mean, you know, despite how like gross they can be sometimes, like I mean, the cooks are gonna be the first like lab rats to figure out if that stuff is okay too. You know, so
you got to do quality checks and. When you come in back on like Wednesday after being closed, like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, you got to figure out what needs axing, what, you know, what's good to go on the line.
Oh, so, yeah, it's QC all day on my first day back, you know.
So, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been an hour and 40 minutes.
Has it? I was literally just looking at that.
Yeah.
That's been a discussion.
So, yeah.
I mean, we could probably cut. I mean, I'll be honest, man. This has been a fun conversation.
Yeah, it's always.
I would be, you know, I'd be open to coming back at some point if you know,
totally,
if you want. So yeah, I mean, we're probably good to cut it at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. Please like us. I can't even remember what I used to say. Please like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
YouTube, yes, sir. Spotify.
Rate us on iTunes. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, and YouTube. I think that's it. So rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us on YouTube, and like us on Facebook. So, yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and I will see you next time.